I'm gonna get dress coded. I'm gonna get dress coded. Don't notice me. Don't notice me. Don't notice me. Maybe if I stay behind them, they won't notice me.
Hey,
No.
come on, sister. How you doing? Now, what do you think I'm gonna ask? You or me, and I'm going here. What do you think she's gonna tell you?
Can't see anything.
Anything above? So, you can put your letters on? Have a pleasant day.
This is what girls go through on a regular basis when we wear what makes us feel comfortable and confident. Dress codes disproportionately affect women with rules that prohibit the abdomen, back, leg, and shoulder exposure. These types of rules target women's fashion trends and women's anatomy. The Harlem Handbook states that student dress has an effect on the learning environment. Recent changes in fashion trends have had a detrimental effect on the school atmosphere. The dress code has been modified to address these concerns. Students who wear clothing deemed inappropriate by school policy will be asked to change into appropriate clothes for the day. Non-compliance with the dress code will result in disciplinary consequences. Who decides which clothes are deemed inappropriate? This is an issue boys in schools don't have to face. They don't have to be concerned with getting added disciplinary consequences for just wearing what they want, because the handbook focuses on rules specific to women. This is damaging towards girls in high school, but even more damaging to elementary school girls, because it teaches them that their bodies are the problem, and that their bodies are inherently sexual. In a paper I read titled Undressing the Dress Code, I feel it encapsulates perfectly the reality of dress codes by saying, school dress codes aim to reduce the disruption by removing the stimulus that is causing the distraction. However, when the distraction is the female body, girls are faced with an undue burden of conforming to gender-restrictive dress codes that aim to desexualize their bodies by sexualizing them. Why are we so focused on the sexuality of elementary school kids, which age ranges from 5 to 11? Kids that age are not focused on Susie's shoulders, but more focused on what they're going to play for recess or what they're going to eat for lunch. So why are we as adults placing that pressure and maturity onto little girls by saying what they're wearing is inappropriate? They are taught that their bodies are distractions, already the problem. What do they think this teaches young girls? It teaches them to be afraid of their bodies, that they need to change themselves to cater to the male education, and it makes them feel as if their education is valued less than their male counterparts. I conducted some interviews of personal experiences in elementary and high school students, and here are their responses.
Well, I don't know. I think so. Part of me is mad because I feel like most of the dress codes apply to the girls, and the only thing that doesn't really apply to that applies to the boys as well is the no hoods and no blankets. So I feel like it's not fair because they have more freedoms with the dress code than girls do.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Because I feel like the boys can wear whatever they want, but the girls get dress coded on something they can wear.
Okay.
Actually, I don't think there's a dress code here. Is there? Because I've just been wearing my normal clothes.
Just shrugs? Okay.
No, I haven't, but I probably could have been before, because there's sometimes when I wear shorter shorts, but I don't get dress coded for that.
Do you get nervous when you wear shorts and stuff that are kind of close?
Yeah. Sometimes in the morning I should I pack an extra pair of pants just in case I do, because I don't know if they will call me out on it.
Never been dress coded?
Does it mean like get in trouble for what you're wearing?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Well, the only time I really do think about it, like, is when I go shopping, because I, like, when I go school shopping before every school year, like, I want to, like, get shorts, because, like, I'm out of shorts that, like, fit me, but then I'm like, well, then I'm not going to be able to wear them much at school, because because the dress code and then the weather.
When you go shopping?
I don't think about it. My mom gets my clothes. Not at all, actually.
I would change the tank top rule where like you have to have 3 fingers for the tank top.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why, I don't understand why we're not allowed to like show our shoulder or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's confusing.
I think walk back.
Well, I think it's actually nothing. Nothing.
As you could see from these interviews, the girls knew exactly what I was talking about and elaborated on the questions I asked, while the guys just shrugged and didn't even know the school had a dress code. So it is evident that we only enforce a dress code onto one gender, and it shows in these interviews. And it makes me so sad that we are so strict on girls with a dress code that it causes them to become stressed and anxious, just because they decided to wear shorts when it's hot. And now they need to pack extra pants and stress all day worried about if they will be called out or not. And it's even more sad that they don't even understand why they have to follow these rules. This makes me so upset to hear this because it shows that the adults are the ones who are sexualizing these children, and it's the adults who are teaching these girls that their bodies are the problem.
I guess I think the dress codes are kind of unfair because, like, anytime a girl wears, like, ripped jeans, we get dress coded for it, but if a guy wears ripped jeans, they don't. And guys don't really have the possibility of getting dress coded for their shorts, I guess. And then girls are just much more pointed out for what they're wearing.
I think the dress code is kind of sexist. I feel like girls or women are objectified more than the boys at the school, and it really sucks.
I think dress codes are very biased, and I think it hides people's bodies and shames girls for wearing what they want to wear.
I think, personally for me, that they're alright the way that they are. They don't like affect me really, but I definitely feel like they're kind of biased and like stricter for females. So like it kind of limits them in their fashion, like the way that they dress a lot.
I guess we have to think about dress codes a lot because when I'm shopping, I have to be like, do I want to spend my money on this if I'm not going to be able to wear it at school, considering how often we're at school? Or am I going to have to be sent to ISS and lose out on my education because I'm wearing this? Am I going to have to lose out on privileges that I should have because of what I decided to put on my own body?
Pretty much every morning when I'm getting dressed, I have to think of where the holes in my pants are, how thick of the band on my shirt is, or if my shoulders are showing, or maybe if my cleavage is showing too much. And I can't really buy certain outfits because I won't be allowed to wear them at school, and it really sucks because then I can't look cute like I want to be.
I always think about dress codes, especially when we're coming back to school from the summer, because you can't wear any of my summer clothes because they're not dress code appropriate. Every day I look at what I'm wearing and see if my holes are low enough or if my shoulders aren't showing. So every single day.
I rarely think about dress code. It's not something that I have to consider when I get dressed or when I go shopping, really, other than like maybe the language that's on the shirts. But as far as like skin that's shown and things like that, I can wear all of my clothes really to school. Like, I don't really consider it in the mornings at all.
I think it does affect how I see myself, because when I'm standing at home and I put on my ripped jeans, I'm like, okay, can't wear these to school. And then I have to put on like leggings that don't look right or sweatpants that don't really make me feel me, and I can't embrace myself at school even when the teachers are like, you should love yourself, but you can't when you're not wearing what makes you feel you.
Yeah, it really affects my self-esteem because I can't look the way I want to, and so I have to kind of conform to what they want me to look like, and I don't really appreciate that.
I think it does affect how I see myself, especially when I see similar girls wearing the same thing yet they don't get dress coded. It makes me like second guess what I look like and what the clothes look like on my body compared to other girls. It definitely makes me more insecure about my outfits.
These interviews were shown to show you exactly how much dress code affects girls. We think about dress codes when we get dressed in the morning, when we go through the halls, when we go shopping. It's restrictive to our creativity, and when we don't feel confident in what we are wearing, we don't feel comfortable, and society finds this normal. Girls in schools are constantly told what to wear and what not to wear. As you can see in the interviews, not much changes from elementary to high school. The girls still know exactly how to answer the questions, while the boys know that it doesn't affect them. Honestly, the dress code is so damaging to girls' mental health. It makes them stressed, anxious, creates body image issues, and more. And it all starts in elementary school. Parents, teachers, peers, they all shape our inner voice. And when we are constantly told we need to change, we internalize that. I feel like this clip explains it perfectly.
Where do inner voices come from? An inner voice always used to be an outer voice. We absorb the tone of others, a harassed or angry parent, the menacing threats of an elder sibling keen to put us down, the words of a schoolyard bully or a teacher who seemed impossible to please. We internalized the unhelpful voices because at certain key moments in the past they sounded compelling. The authority figures repeated their messages over and over until they got lodged in our own way of thinking.
And that's exactly what happens. We are told over and over again that we need to change ourselves to protect the boys, and it's our fault for the attention we get. This is so damaging. But instead of me just telling you, here is a poem my sister and I wrote about dress codes that I feel really just hits all the points that need to be made. A dress code always starts the same, me always feeling like I'm at blame, so to avoid the shame, I hold my breath and walk with ease, because I know it's my responsibility to control the attention that I receive, and if that doesn't work, I'm forced to wear long sleeves, and no shorts unless they exceed fingertip length, and no tank tops unless there's 2 inches of space, and no holes in my jeans, because I might make a scene, even though outside it's well over 90 degrees. But the boys next to me are all wearing their pants sagged to their knees with their muscle tees, but no one cares because they aren't a tease. Perhaps it's their masculine energy. But on the other hand, how much a woman shows indicates how much she's willing to please, when in reality, girls and women are just trying to be free, express themselves by all means. But instead, they are required to cover up because we as a society are focused on the birds and the bees and our kids' sexualities. I mean, these are just children. Why are we teaching them that what they wear should put them at a state of unease? And why are we, as adults, why are we acting so predatory and treating our boys and girls differently? This is not equality. This is a culture we must seize. Girls and women should feel comfortable in what they wear and not be policed and taught that boys are just sleaze and because of that, always walk in groups of 3s. This needs to stop. That should be a guarantee. But boys, don't be alarmed. You aren't vultures. You're just another victim of a society that promotes rape culture. Boys, You have self-control. You are able to focus no matter how much is shown. Girls, I mean this from my soul. No matter what you're wearing, it's never your fault because you look grown. However, we as a society must stand together and say we do not condone the ways of which we in society make women feel they are something to be owned. These practices of dress code teaches girls that they are hoes, and that is a practice we must corrode. Dress code. Dress code. It teaches us to be afraid of our bodies. Why should we be afraid of our bodies? I, for one, am not afraid of my body, so I'm sorry you're afraid of my body. I'm sorry society is afraid of my body, but I will never be sorry for my body. I'll never be sorry because my body is treated as a violation, as if it's merely a distraction to a boy's education and a teacher's occupation, and on top of that, it's a risk to any grown man's reputation. Society is selling dress code as an attempt to protect a girl's mental situation. You can't fool me. This is an attempt to protect the male reputation by hypersensitization with underlying sexualization. Female bodies are not objects for male sexualization. Female bodies are just bodies, and having a body is part of the human condition. But instead of teaching boys to avert their attention, we teach girls to comply by means of submission, as if we can't change the world we live in. Society is acting as if dress code is an irreversible decision, but this is a volition. But we are perfectly capable of changing our position. But here's my proposition. Why is my body so controversial? As if we don't advertise the female body in every single commercial. As if it's a product to be sold or owned, some kind of commodity, perhaps property. And as if the term bodily autonomy is some kind of comedy. You see, bodily autonomy is just another term to prove gender inequality, because dress code is a practice that forces women to act modestly and simultaneously reinforces misogyny, because men are just sexual creatures, it's in their biology, and women are just emotional creatures, it's basic psychology. Please, let me point out the hypocrisy. This is just basic sociology, because reinforcing these ideals definitely classifies as some kind of monstrosity. And trust me when I say this, I'm not even trying to be dramatic, but this experience can be quite traumatic. It's discrimination on the basis of sex, and it is systematic. When will we realize that dress codes in schools is extremely problematic?